Hello friends, it's Willie and I welcome you to my channel, Disney Your Day. It may be changing names before too long. I have not posted in a very long time, and for that I apologize. I've been wanting to resurrect the channel and I think I'm finally going to do that. The focus will be a little bit different than it was before. Now there will always be some Disney content on my channel. As long as I'm recording, there will be something Disney, like our buddy Mickey here. I wanted to start back in by talking a little bit about my last trip to Disney World, which was in October of 2021. So it's been a while. But I never talked about it on the channel because I wasn't recording at that point. So I thought I'd do some diamond painting while I'm talking to you, so you have something a little more interesting to look at than me. And I've really gotten back into diamond painting recently, and it's what I hope to share more often on YouTube. So I pulled out this Mickey project that's been in my stash for a very long time and thought I would work on drilling while we chat for a little bit. I'm going to try not to make this one too long since we haven't talked in so long. So this will be the first bit about my October trip. So I went to Disney World with my friends Tammy and Jerry. They are two of my longest lasting, closest friendships, and we have been to Disney World together before. Tammy and I have been to Disney World a number of times together, and she and Jerry have been to Disney World together quite a number of times. And the three of us have traveled together twice. This was the second time. They're both Disney fanatics like me. I love traveling with them. And so we were originally supposed to go in, I think, December of 2020. We were invited to go along with friends of Tammy and Jerry's that they've traveled with a number of times, who are DVC members and own points. Their home resort is Old Key West. So they had invited us to stay with them at Old Key West, and they were going to get a 2-bedroom villa. They would stay in one room and the three of us would stay in the other. And we were really excited about that. Tammy and Jerry have stayed at Old Key West before. I have not, so this would have been my first time there. Well, as the pandemic wore on, their friends decided that going to Disney World and having to mask up would kind of dampen the magic a little bit. And you can't really fault them for that. Everybody defines their own magic at Disney World. By the way, I hope I'm not getting my big fat head in this video. And I normally diamond paint on a light board at an angle, and this is flat. So pardon me if you see me making a hot mess of these drills as I place them on the canvas. The little tiles that you use for the mosaic effect on diamond paintings are usually referred to as drills. I had a habit for a while. In fact, I think there's a previous video on my channel where I kept referring to them as beads. They're not beads. They don't have holes in them. You don't string them. But it was a habit I had to break. Anyway, we were supposed to stay at Old Key West in December. When that plan fell through, we decided to regroup because we still wanted to go to Disney World. We weren't bothered by the mask mandates. We weren't going to let that spoil the magic for us. So we decided to go in October of last year, of 2021, and we decided that we were going to stay off property to save some money. As we got closer to the time, Tammy had bought a new vehicle and we decided that we would drive, which is something we hadn't done in quite some time. Now, we all live in Maryland. They live in Western Maryland. I live in the DC suburbs of Maryland. So it's a bit of a hike. There are people who drive a lot further to get to Disney World, but we decided we would drive and see some sights along the way. We decided to make it a 2-day drive there. So we started making our plans. Then Jerry bought a new vehicle, and his was an SUV. So we decided to take his vehicle because then we could stuff it with more things. Because, you know, if you go on a road trip, it's an excuse to pack extra stuff, right? At least that's our theory. And trust me, we packed extra stuff. Anyway, so we left on, oh Lord, it's been so long. I want to say we left on October 16th. It was a Saturday that we left. And we drove as far as the Savannah, Georgia area. Now we had some interesting experiences along the way. I want to say before we got out of Virginia, or maybe right as we crossed into North Carolina, Tammy's mom called. Tammy's mom and her stepdad were going to be babysitting Tammy's dog, Lucy, who I refer to as the Psycho Wiener. She is an adorable dachshund. One parent was a long-haired dachshund, the other was a wire-haired dachshund. So she's got some fabulous curly hair, but she's a little nuts. We'll just leave it at that. Anyway, they had gotten into a predicament where Tammy's stepdad was chasing the dog and fell and hit his head against a tree trunk. And they were taking him to the emergency room. He's okay. I need to put that out there. He is okay. They checked him for a concussion and everything. They worked him up very thoroughly. He is okay. I spoke to him about a month ago. I saw him. I laid eyes on him. He's doing fine. But it meant they weren't going to be able to keep the dog, and we were going to be gone for about 2 weeks. So Tammy was frantically checking around. Fortunately, our other best friend, Judy, whom I've known since kindergarten, we've been best friends since kindergarten, and we met Tammy in 5th grade, and she became part of the trio. Tammy's dad used to refer to us as the Unholy Three, which is ridiculous because except for my potty mouth, we are really good girls. We are such good girls. But I digress. So we had that excitement of making arrangements in the car for Judy to pick up Lucy, the Psycho Wiener, from Tammy's mom and stepdad. And then we had adventures during the trip, checking in with Judy and finding out what Lucy had been up to and what little presents she had left around the house during those days. So anyway, Tammy was able to get Lucy situated. Her stepdad was okay. And we made it to the Savannah area. Now, my friends both watch a lot of Food Channel. Is that what it's called? Food Network? Where they talk about food. Foodies go watch it all the time. And they really wanted to have dinner at Paula Deen's restaurant, the Lady and Sons. I didn't care. I don't watch Paula Deen. I've never gotten into the cult of Paula Deen, but we had to eat dinner somewhere, right? So I said, sure, why not? So we drove into Savannah on a Saturday night, And I commented at one point that we really stood out because we were way too sober. There were a lot of people partying on the streets of Savannah that night. It was kind of funny. We saw lots of the beer wagons, you know, where you get a group of people and you all paddle this wagon around on the streets and while you drink. There were a lot of those. It seemed like there were an awful lot of hen parties happening in Savannah, and I don't think any of those people were sober. And I said, we're just really too sober to be in Savannah this evening. Anyway, we got to the Lady and Sons. Now, I have friends who live in Savannah, and they told me that the thing for natives or people who live in Savannah is friends don't let friends go to the Lady and Sons. My friends wanted to go, we went. we weren't really impressed, I gotta tell you. Sorry, Paula, sorry to your sons, but the decor was not what my friends were expecting. It's very plain inside. The food was mostly okay. Everything is served family style there, and based on the number of people at your table. And you order, I think you can order 2 meats, 3 meats, maybe 4 meats. And the number of proteins that you order determines the price of the meal. Now, for the amount of food that we got, the price was not bad. I've got to say, I was expecting more from a celebrity chef restaurant, but the price was reasonable. And the food was okay. One of the things that we ordered was pot roast. My father made better pot roast than this. And pot roast was about the one meal that my father prepared that I can remember, God rest his soul. But my pop made better pot roast than this. So the fried chicken was good. The fried chicken was good. The macaroni and cheese was not up to par for what I would expect from a Southern restaurant or a Southern cook. Maybe it's a stereotype, but I tend to think that one thing that Southerners can make really well and really yummy is macaroni and cheese. And it was just, I could have probably done that, and I'm not a cook. I'm sorry, Paula. If anybody's a Paula Deen fan listening, I don't mean to, dog your girl, but it was just okay. Now, everybody gets a small slice of butter cake, I think, as part of the meal. And we actually took ours to go, and we were joking about how teeny tiny these slices of butter cake were. But we had them for breakfast the next morning, and oh my gosh, that was the butter cake. Chef's kiss. It was so good. It was so rich. Although we joked about it being too small, it was the perfect size because any more would have been too much. It was so good. This is how many months after the fact, and I still can't form words about how good this cake was. So anyway, we stayed at a hotel that was off the interstate. We drove down I-95 for most of the way. Our hotel was near the Savannah airport. So we stayed there for the night, got up the next morning, and made our way to Orlando. We stopped at the Orlando Visitor Center, picked up tons and tons of brochures, which of course I have not looked at since we got back. I need to do that. My thought was, oh, it's research for our next trip, right? like you can't find all this stuff online. You can find all this stuff online. And then my second thing is, oh, I can use it in my scrapbooking. Yeah, I haven't scrapbooked anything from this trip yet. Anyway, that's my justification. Tammy and Jerry picked up a lot of stuff as well. I'm not sure what their justification is, but mine always falls back to scrapbooking. Yeah. Let me tell you about how much stuff I've thrown away that I paid money to ship home from Ireland one year. I mean, I spent money to send packages of tourist brochures home from Ireland. That's how ridiculous I am. And I recently tossed, I think, all of them into the recycling because I was last in Ireland in 2008 and hadn't really looked at any of these things. So yeah. Hi, I'm Willie. I have issues. I don't have issues. I have subscriptions. Okay. Anyway, we got our free orange juice. They were giving free orange juice in spite of the pandemic at the Florida Welcome Center. So we got our free orange juice. We got our free brochures. We took pictures. There was a photo up there, of course, for Walt Disney World. So we each took a picture at the photo op, and it was for the 50th anniversary, the 50th birthday of Walt Disney World. So that was a little special. And that was one of the reasons for us wanting to go. We wanted to be there shortly after the birthday festivities started, and they officially started October 1st of last year. So that's part of the reason why we wanted to go in October, to be there for the birthday and maybe get some of the special merch that they were selling and eat some of the special treats. You know, Disney always has special treats for every occasion of the year, but the 50th birthday was a little bit special. So, you know, we wanted to partake of all of that. So we made our way across the Florida-Georgia line into Florida. And my little friend Bucky here is sitting here with me because one of the things that we decided we had to do was stop at a Buc-ee's. Now, we had heard about Buc-ee's from a friend of Tammy's who had driven down not too long before we went. If you're not familiar with Buc-ee's, they are kind of like the Walmart of convenience stores. They're a Texas thing. They originated in Texas. And these things are huge. There's one in Daytona Beach now and one in St. Augustine, and I can't remember which one we stopped at each time. We hit one on the way down, one on the way back. I think we stopped at St. Augustine first. Use your words, Will. Use your words. I'm trying to find words to describe this place. It's not 7-Eleven, it's not Sheetz, it's not Turkey Hill, it's not Wawa. It's like all of those wrapped up in one on steroids. The first one we stopped at, I swear there are 100 gas pumps outside this place. 100. 100. 100. I mean, it's insane. Inside, the place is huge. They have deli stuff. They have fresh fruit. They have merch with Bucky the Beaver. Isn't he adorable? He's their mascot. This is Bucky. Hi, I'm Bucky. You see, I had to get me a little plush squat. He's kind of like a Squishmallow version of a Bucky. There's a big golden bronze kind of Bucky outside that we took selfies with. There's Bucky branded merchandise all over the place. It's ridiculous. I mean, everything from baby onesies to t-shirts to sweatshirts to anything you can imagine. Mints, little mint tins that have the Buc-ee's logo on it. It's just insane. The soda bar is bigger than anything I've seen in any other convenience store. It's just snacks of all stripes. What else? There's a fudge bar where you could get just about any flavor of fudge that you might want. It's insane. Oops, I dropped one. Where did it go? Ah, there. Let me push that out of the way. Okay. It's just, I mean, we spent well over an hour in there just looking around and shopping. And the other thing that you hear about Buc-ee's is that their restrooms are the cleanest thing you will find on the road. We had to test it out because we don't believe everything we hear, especially on the internet. Oh my gosh, that ladies' room was huge. And by huge, I mean there were a lot of stalls, but it was also spacious. You weren't piled on top of each other while you were trying to wash your hands or anything. The place was huge and the place was immaculate. I don't know what they pay their staffers who clean those bathrooms, but they do the most amazing job. I've never seen a restroom that clean and that well appointed. And I've even used the restrooms in some swanky hotels over the years, you know. Never seen anything like it. The other thing that I particularly loved at Buc-ee's, I kept hearing about how good the brisket sandwich is. And I got one and I died. It was so good. It was the best brisket sandwich I have ever eaten in my entire life. Good Lord. It was so, I'm not going to use that M word that people don't like, that, you know, rhymes with joist. It was so flavorful, so tender, just mouth. I'm trying not to drool here just thinking about this sandwich for people, for Pete's sake. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. We bought all kinds of souvenirs. Let me show you some of the other things that I purchased. I want to cover this up so that nothing sticks to it. I mentioned that I also do scrapbooking, so I bought some things. I don't know. Let me check my camera. I apologize if this chair screeches. I want to see if this will show up in the camera. Okay, this is a little tie-dye Buc-ee sticker. Peace, love, and Buc-ee. This is a bumper sticker, but I will use it in scrapbooking. And then this will definitely get used in the scrapbook. It says road trip, and it has Buc-ee right there. So I took some photos along the way of different skylines and things that we saw along the road. So that is will go in the scrapbook with those photos. I think I bought this on the way back because they had Christmas merch out at that time. Again, pardon the chair. This is a little Christmas tree ornament with Buc-ee as Santa. And kind of a little Buc-ee toy soldier here in the back of the sleigh. But and it's got the Buc-ee logo, Buc-ee's logo, BUC-EE''S, Buc-ee's. So those were some of the purchases along with a buttload of snacks that I bought at Buc-ee's. So after Buc-ee's, we made our way to Orlando and checked into our hotel. As I mentioned, we stayed off property this time around, and after doing a lot of research, we decided to stay at the Red Lion Maingate Hotel in Orlando, which wasn't far from anything on Disney World property. It was a nice hotel. It was a very large room. King bed and a pull-out queen sofa. The room was huge. The bathroom was nice and large. Everything was very clean. And we stayed there 10 nights. See, this is why Willie should write notes before she records. I want to say we stayed there 10 nights for about $800. 10 nights, $800. You're not going to get anything like that anywhere on Disney World property these days. The hotel was located very nicely. We had access to lots of things. We weren't far from anything that we wanted to see or do. There's coffee. My one complaint, if it's a complaint, is that there are no coffee makers in the rooms. However, they have a free coffee bar in the lobby every morning. I want to say until about 11 o'clock. So I was able to get my morning coffee every single day, but it meant going to the lobby. And we were in a different part of the hotel that was pretty far away from the lobby. So I'd have to go down to the lobby. Tammy and Jerry do not drink coffee. They are not coffee fans. I need it. I need the coffee. I'm sorry if my fat head is getting into the frame here. I'm moving some of these diamonds around, which you can usually do with poured glue, but it's not looking good on this particular canvas. So I kind of wanted to end this first video with us arriving in Orlando because I didn't want to go very long for my first video back. If you've made it this far, thank you. And please leave me a comment below. How have you traveled to Disney World? Have you driven from your part of the world lately? And what was your experience like? And where did you stop along the way? I love hearing those kinds of details from other people as well. And thank you for joining me as I started on this little Mickey diamond painting. Thank you for joining my friend Bucky and me. Bye! He's kind of squishmallowy, so I can't really wave his little hand. How about I flap his tail? Bye! Yeah, I'm a grown woman. Anyway, I'll be back soon. I'll be doing some diamond painting unboxings. I'll do another segment of my trip before too long. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask them and I'll try to address them. But thank you for joining me. And remember to always find some little way to Disney your day. Bye-bye, friends.